for joining me for today's First Five. Today we find ourselves in 2 Corinthians chapter 12. And so in Paul's writing, we can see here that he once again is asking God to take away a pain, this thorn in his side. And so we see this, this isn't the first time we see this, that Paul is pleading with God to take away this pain. And so quite literally, this could be a pain. We're not sure if it's a pain in his body or a temptation that he might be facing or a troubled relationship with someone else or something different. But we do see this come up frequently in Paul's writing, that he's pleading with God to take this from him, to free him from this. And so this reminds me that sometimes as Christians, we come into this relationship with Christ and we think, or we hope, or we imagine that that's it. It would just be beautiful from that point on, that there will be no more trials and tribulations or temptation. And I don't think that that's fair or accurate. I think that what God promises us very clearly is that he is faithful to be with us while we endure hardship. That, in fact, I think we're probably promised hardship and persecution. But what God does say is, I will remain with you. I will be present through that hard time. So let's read this and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, starting around verse 7. He says, "Therefore, in order to keep me from becoming conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me, but he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong.'" So it reminds me of this thing that keeps popping up in my head and in my reading this week and even last week. And I'm wrestling with where I agree or disagree with this statement, but where I am enough. You know, that this is a sentiment to encourage probably positive self-esteem. I am enough. When really, I don't know if I agree with this. I think I even said this last week, that I am not enough because I am fully human. I struggle with temptation and emotions and pain. And this is where I fall short. God is enough. So through him, I am enough because he's doing the work in me. And so he makes me strong. It is his strength that gives me strength. When I am weak, I am strong. But it's not my own strength, it's Christ's strength. So this is where I do feel like these red letter words, the words of Jesus, where he says, he promises us, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." We don't realize that we need help until we literally can't do something for ourselves. So I think sometimes even Paul here says, "I pleaded 3 times and you haven't taken away from me." It is this, that he is fully dependent on God. He is reliant on a power that is not from himself. So in this, I think this is where we need to remember that our journeys with Christ, just because we're Christians, does not mean that it's necessarily easy or the way that we imagined it to go. That there are still temptations. And so it might be this pain, whether it is a pain that you struggle with, an actual body pain, something that causes you to be hurt or in pain daily. It's nagging and it's painful. God says, I'll be with you because my power is made perfect in your weakness. My grace is sufficient for you. I will be present through that. Whether it's a troubled relationship with a person, and that's what's causing you pain, or the thorn in your side, whether it's a temptation that you're struggling with and you just don't be able to, you just can't seem to be freed from that. God doesn't say that everything will be easy or given to us in a way that we imagine it to be. Oftentimes the answer to prayer is simply that God will be present with us. So maybe you need that encouragement today. I know I need that encouragement today, that through our trials, not if we have trials or temptations, but through them, because we will have them, God's promise to us is that he will be faithful to be present with us. So that might look different than we imagine, or even hoped, or even pray. But oftentimes the answer is that we can just rest in knowing that it's not our strength, but it is his, and that his grace is sufficient for us. God, would you rest in knowing that today you are not alone, and that the answer to prayer is a promise. With the red letter words, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. It's okay to rely on somebody, Jesus Christ, who is much stronger than us. I hope you have a great day and find hope in these words. Make it a great day.